Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Judge Tammy Long Hayward with the State Court of Clayton County. This is the arraignment and jail calendar for January 7th of 2025. This is the 10 a.m. calendar, and we have one arraignment case. Ms. Cornegay, your attorney has announced that he is running behind. He's at another courtroom right now, so we're going to hold for his report. We'll do the jail calendar first. All right, and one second. All right. All right. The first name on the calendar is Killian Vieira Atabong. This is a petition.
Judge, I haven't spoken to Mr. Audubon yet. I don't know if we're going to be appointed, but
y'all were his original attorneys, so just send me an appointment order if you still need one.
Sure, Judge, and I do one of the few inmates I hadn't talked to yet.
I'm sorry.
I'll speak to him momentarily.
All right. Bullock, Cedric Otis Bullock.
Judge, I did speak to Mr. Bullock. He is going to resolve his case today. I did ask Ms. Hagler to consider something, but regardless, we will have a plea today.
Okay. Courtney Waddell Callahan, petition.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're representing Mr. Callahan. However, as a pending new charge, we're waiting to see if we could get a recommendation on that from the state. We waived preliminary hearings back before the first of the year.
Okay. Saletta Carmichael.
Judge, I did speak to Ms. Carmichael yesterday. We're either going to resolve that case but I would like to speak to her one more time today before we go forward, because it's kind of there's some issues that I need to make sure are not preventing her from going forward today.
Okay. Henry Lee Carroll III.
Judge, he's gonna resolve that case through a plea today.
Tiffany Monique Chambers.
Judge, she's not I don't believe she's in custody, so I'm assuming that she posted bond.
All right, let's verify if she's OTB. Tiffany Monique Chambers. If she's OTB, really reset.
She's not on the inmate list.
Okay, we'll come back to her. Next is Kimberly Bianca Day. This is a petition. I'm seeing way too many returnees. Not happy with it.
Ms. Day is in the courtroom.
All right.
Yeah, you can go.
Have you had a chance to speak with her?
No, Judge, I know she spoke to Mr. Carmichael, the probation officer, but I haven't spoken to Ms. Day about what's happening.
Okay. Well, you might want to check with her because it's a DUI case, so she may have some time. We'll look at it.
Well, Taz, will you talk to Ms. Day?
All right. Nicholas James Dewberry. It's also a petition.
Yes, Judge. So I was given the recommendation, and he has no issue with that, but he does have two pending cases that are not resolved on the 14th. So we were hoping that we could get them all resolved together with something that ran concurrent. If he doesn't have any intention of contesting the BOP, he just wants to resolve all the cases together.
Okay, Nathaniel Pena, Benjamin Jefferson.
Judge, that's going to be a negotiated plea to both cases.
Thank you, Ms. Holcomb. I saw it. Ms. Chambers is out to bond, so we'll reset that on the next arraignment calendar. Mr. Jefferson, excuse me, has two cases, so I'm sure both of those can be resolved today. Terrence Dion Johnson.
Inmate Johnson.
I don't have him as an inmate. Karen's Dion Johnson.
He must have posted bond, Judge.
Okay, we'll check and verify OTB status on Johnson. Karen Lovett.
Judge, there's a pending eval there. I did speak to her today. I don't believe we're going to be able to go forward today.
All right, we'll reset for 2 weeks.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Naeem Khan.
That's a probation verification, Your Honor.
All right, this Matt McCord was his attorney. I don't know if Mr. McCord or Mr. Pham are still on the case.
No, Judge, I believe there's an interpreter here for that inmate.
Okay.
I don't think
Great.
there's.
All right, if you could ask when he comes out, if and let's prioritize that because we don't want to have the interpreter sit all day. So if you could prioritize speaking with Mr. Neem and find out if he needs an attorney to assist him. Gary Antonio Williams.
Judge, we're going to enter a not guilty plea today.
All right, is Mr. I want to bring Mr. Williams out and give him my admonition.
Judge, I have to apologize. I indicated that he was going to enter a not guilty plea, and he had asked if he could go back, and I indicated that that would be okay. That's my fault. I know that's not my.
Did you give him my admonition?
Judge, if it had to do with people in the case, Judge, I didn't. However, this is a jail case, so it's a deputy is the alleged victim here. Not that
Oh, okay.
anything, but
Yeah, most of them can take care of themselves.
yeah. Thank you, Judge. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I shouldn't have said.
It's okay. I mean, you know, usually you know who I'm targeting.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Williams does need some speaking to though. So when he comes back out, I'm sure you'll have a chance.
All right, so I'm gonna give y'all a few minutes to go ahead and conference. Let me know when you're ready to come back and run through these, please. Remember, we have trial starting soon, so let's go ahead and knock it out.
Judge, just to that end, could I do a brief
Yes.
breakout room with Ms. Hagler just to make sure I've talked to her about everything I can, so and then that way there won't be any more back and forth between us.
Yes, Ms. Hagler and Mr. Lynch. Oh, and please prioritize whoever has the baby.
That's Ms. Taja. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor,
Yes,
did you happen to call Miss Day, Miss Kimberly Day?
I did.
Okay,
Let me-
cool. I must not have been present at the time. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I did. They want to talk to her.
Understood. I did speak with her already about it if you were willing to go on it, but if the attorneys want to speak with her as well, that'll work.
Yeah, I didn't know if you know, I have to at least offer counsel. So I think she wanted to speak to them about something. I'll put the courtroom and Ms. Hagler in breakout room number 2. Mr. Taylor, you had a question?
Just Ms. Day, if we wanted to proceed with Ms. Day, I've spoken to her briefly. If Mr. Carmichael will give us the recommendation. I haven't spoken to Mr. Carmichael, so.
All right, so Mr. Carmichael, if you just send the recommendation by chat. Mr. Taylor, are you signed on separately?
I'm not, but I can be in about 3 minutes.
Okay,
I was actually going to come on down there again. Don't worry.
That would be fine.
all right, that's perfect. I'm gonna open up the breakout room for Ms. Hagler and courtroom 304.
Bringing back probation.
Hey, we need, what's his last name? How do you spell it? Yeah, we need to know.
I set up the breakout room for whenever y'all ready. I don't know if y'all used it yet.
Hey, Judge, we already spoke. I'm gonna talk to the probation candidates and then, probation matters. And
Oh, okay. I looked up and I didn't know if y'all had gone in yet. That's okay. Just let me know when y'all are ready.
Okay, well, yeah, we're doing one again. We need, and we need Ottawa. Yeah. It's like stiff.
I need my radio. Is that it now? What's that guy's name again? Jerry. Thank you for the year, and they send back up on Bravo 3. Last name is Williams, first name is Jerry. That's the part. I copied that. What time? No, no. Did you check, did they give it? This is the answer. If there's not, and one for the afternoon as well. And we don't have this one's supposed to be at 10 o'clock. I'll be back. Go right here. I'll be right back. There's Bravo. Bravo. Elevator.
They're pretty much good to go. Can you put, Carol in the booth?
Yeah, hang on.
On one side.
Yeah, I think it's a good, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yeah, with the interpreter, he's gonna accept that and ask the court to accept that. Keep it moving. I thought someone about it, samples, that's every report. Most of it. Right. daughter.
The person asked is.
That's what we do, that's what- I'm willing to see the cover, it doesn't get it.
Any agreement? That's not good. Y'all can try to get it out.
She does, she's got very special clothes.
Your Honor, we are ready to go forward on the interpreter probation case.
All right, give me a couple minutes. I'll be right with you.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, Mr. Kim. We're waiting on Judge. Judge said, hang on, and then we're gonna bring up Mr. Kim. Yeah. Or wait, sorry. Wait, we're holding on to Judge. Don't bring me in.
Once the judge is there.
Once the judge said we're good.
Attorney Lynch, I'm about to send you the recommendation for Mr. Dewberry's other case. In
Oh,
the
you-
courtroom chat.
Okay, perfect.
Is Williams in custody?
Yes, we pled not guilty because it's a year to serve, like, he's got trial next week. He can just deal with this.
Attorney Lynch, I just sent you the chat in courtroom 304.
All right, Mr. Lance, thank you for holding. I'm ready. Boop, 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 boop.
Can we pull Mr.?
Come on up for me.
Yeah. I guess if you want to stand right here, because he's gonna stand right here, and I'll.
Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning. Good to see you. Happy New Year.
New Year to you. It's a long time.
We ready?
They're bringing him out right now.
Okay. Hayward, Judge Hayward.
Does it matter if I makes the hands up with
It does not. Okay, thank you. All right, good morning. Sir, you're before the court for a petition
anh đứng trước tòa để làm cái buổi tòa hôm nay
for revocation of probation.
cái điều này là bỏ cái bài đạt cái probation của mình.
Trying to find, sorry, trying to find the actual petition. All right, sir. So this is state of Georgia versus Con Niem
Tiểu bang Georgia công bố Khanh Nghiêm
2022 CR 07544.
544.
The defendant was before this court for driving under the influence,
Trong tức vụ này là công tố ông
leaving the scene,
đường sẽ bỏ chạy
and improper lane change on the 7th of May 2024.
đi vượt qua mấy cái len không đúng phép vào tháng 2024.
He was sentenced to 12 months on probation and has 3 months and 20 days remaining.
Bị tù treo 12 tháng còn 3 tháng nữa là sẽ hết.
He has provided 2 dilute urine samples to probation
Thử nước tiểu đưa cho giám thị 2 cái loại
on November 13th, 2024 and November 26th, 2024. All right, Mr. Lynch.
Judge, he stipulates that there's a violation of probation based on dilute samples apparently having been received. I have spoken to him about the recommendation from Mr. Carmichael, and he does wish to accept that and ask the court to accept the recommendation from Mr. Carmichael.
All right, what's the recommendation, Mr. Carmichael?
Good morning, Your Honor. Probation recommends return back to probation, drug screens, every report.
Trở lại đi trình diện, mỗi lần trình diện nó là sẽ thử nước tiểu.
All right, Mr. Yim. The problem is that you may fool the court and probation.
Ông nghĩ là ông có thể lừa giám thị với tòa được hả?
But you won't fool yourself.
Nhưng mà ông có thể lừa được, nhưng mà ông đừng có lừa chính bản thân ông.
if you are providing dilute samples, it means that you think that you might test positive for alcohol.
Tại vì là đưa cái nước tiểu mà như vậy
If you think you might test positive for alcohol, then that means you have a problem with alcohol because you can't stop drinking enough to avoid the possibility of jail.
thì thứ nhất là có cái tật mà ghiền rượu quá thì thành thử là không có thể nào vô được, tại vì ngay cả cái lúc mà đi vô tù cũng uống nữa, sợ đi vô tù bị uống.
But even more than jail, can you imagine what would happen if you were to drive under the influence again and you hurt or killed someone?
Cái điều nguy hiểm nữa thì coi không phải vô tù không, mà uống xong mà ông lái xe đó ông có thể gây tai nạn và giết người.
You have the opportunity during this period of time that you're on probation to deal with the problem so that it doesn't end a life and possibly your own.
Mình thấy là có 12 tháng tù treo này là cái cơ hội để cho ông không uống rượu và để có thể để cho ông không có cơ hội có thể là gây tai nạn giết người và ngay cả sinh mạng của ông nữa.
It starts with acknowledging that you have a problem with alcohol, because the only way to fix it and to learn to deal with it is to acknowledge that there is an issue.
Mình nghĩ là bây giờ ông phải nhận thức và mình nhận thức được là ông đã uống rượu, ông phải tự biết được mình nghiện rượu thì mình có thể cai được.
I would suggest Alcoholics Anonymous.
Thành thử tôi hy vọng là ông sẽ tham gia những cái hội mà
They have the program in every community and almost every language possible.
thì trong cái lúc đi vô cơ hội cái người chung ngay cả có tiếng Việt nữa, người ta sẽ tư vấn và chia sẻ với ông.
The reason the program works is because it's people who are going through the same experiences helping each other, as opposed to someone who has no idea about what it means to struggle with alcohol.
Cái chương trình đó nó rất là tốt, tại vì những cái người tới chương trình đó ai cũng nghiện rượu hết á, mà người tới đó người ta chia sẻ những cái kinh nghiệm trong cái lúc nghiện rượu làm sao nữa là rất là tốt.
Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Hiểu không? Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there anything you want to say to me?
Rồi, anh có muốn nói gì nữa không? No, ma'am.
One second. I think a lot of times people are worried about what it looks like to other people or what it might seem like to our community. But what you should worry about is whether you can deal with an alcohol situation such that nobody is harmed, including yourself, including your family.
Trong cái cuộc sống này là việc là mình nghĩ nhưng mà mình phải biết được cái vấn đề của mình, có vấn đề của mình thì mình phải ngăn ngừa được cái mà mình không có gây ra sự nguy hiểm cho xã hội và ngay cả cho bản thân của ông và cho gia đình của ông.
Every day is a new opportunity to make change and to get things right.
Mỗi ngày cũng sẽ có cho mình cái cơ hội để mình chuyển hóa.
So I'm going to return you to probation. You're going to test at each report.
Bác còn tiếp tục đi trình diện mỗi tháng, mỗi lần đi trình diện.
All right. And hopefully we won't have to have another conversation like this.
Hy vọng từ đây sẽ không còn một chuyện này sẽ xảy ra. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Same to you, man.
And if you can let me know if you'll be working on the 14th, so next Tuesday at 8 o'clock.
14. 14 tới 8 giờ sáng. Yeah. Yeah. On January.
Yes.
Yeah. 14 tới. Well, no. Can you advise something?
I'll let him know.
Yeah.
All right, what else you have?
Judge, I did speak to Mr. Adabong. Just looking at the petition, he does not stipulate that he violated the law or that he contacted the victim. So I guess in that situation, we have to request a hearing.
All right, so Mr. Adamon will have a hearing. We'll reset him for what? What do we need? 2 weeks for notice?
I believe that's the case, Judge. I'm not sure.
All right, tell Mr. Audubon, if he can wait in jail for 2 weeks, I can wait to have the hearing. Any other announcements?
Judge, I think we're ready to go forward on just about everything that I announced plea on, other than Mr. Carroll. They're looking for him. But I am able to, we can go forward on pleas for Jefferson, for Bullock.
Well, let's just bring them out. Tell me you're ready, I'm ready.
Your Honor, we're ready to go forward with Miss Day, who's in the courtroom.
Okay, Ms. Day, come on up. Mr. Carmichael's in the courtroom still?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Day, raise your right hand for me. Who's with? Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear Ms. Day.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Hello?
Yes, I said, yes, I'm sorry.
In the courtroom, Mr. Taylor, can you turn the, can you angle the camera so that I can see Ms. Day? Because I'm just seeing the tops of people's heads. Oh, that's perfect. All right, so Ms. Day, do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Day, you're before the court for a petition for revocation of probation. This is a 2020 CR 02905 case. Kimberly Bianca Day, you were before this court for driving under the influence on the 20th day of February 2024. You were sentenced to 12 months on probation. You have 1 month and 11 days remaining. You failed to complete 40 hours of community service. You failed to provide proof of completing a level 1 program for treatment, and you are currently $1,440 in arrears. All right, Mr. Taylor, tell me why Ms. Day hasn't done the community service and the treatment program, which if you have a child, you should have been running to get to a treatment program so you can be a better mother.
Your Honor, Ms. Day has completed the community service and she's provided proof of completing that community service to Mr. Carmichael.
All 40 hours?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
We do admit that Ms. Day has not completed the
ASMA level 1 course.
That's not the DUI risk reduction, that's the analysis for the treatment.
No, they did a substance abuse evaluation, and the evaluator said that she needed additional treatment support. And instead of getting the treatment support, she shows up here with her baby like I won't put her in jail and call DFACS to come get her child.
Your Honor, when speaking with Ms. Day, she indicated to me that she was having some financial difficulties with arranging for that ASAM treatment. She does tell me that she can, her father is willing to assist her with the payment for that program, and I told her she would need to get into that program immediately this week if she's given the opportunity to remain outside of custody. The final obligation that she had is a financial obligation that she's been unable to pay. again, due to.
Okay, Ms. Day, if you are working in conjunction with your probation officer, which I encourage everybody to do, then some of this money would have been turned into additional community service hours. But since you waited to the last minute to do the ordered community service hours, you wouldn't have had time to convert some of the money into additional community service. And I'm not sure if you were having financial problems, you knew you were having financial problems 11 months ago. 10 months ago, while we wait until the last minute to come in and say, I can't do the recommended treatment. So not everybody gets a recommendation for a treatment level. That means you actually need it. They've done an assessment and you are a risk to people. Therefore, they've required you to go to treatment. You can roll your eyes if you want to, but you have a baby. So think about the fact that you put people's lives in jeopardy when you drove drunk the first time. And now they've recommended that you need additional treatment support. But instead of doing that, you come in here sporting your baby like she's some badge that, like I said, will keep me from putting you in jail. Ma'am, I'm a judge today. I'm a mama when I get home.
Your Honor,
So no, Mr. Taylor, I need to hear from her why we slacking on doing what we need to do. Because they have recognized that she got a problem. Ms. Day?
Yes, ma'am. Are you asking, which part are we asking?
I'm asking why you before the court not having done what you know you needed to do.
Just been struggling. I'm sorry.
No, ma'am, no. No. Everybody's struggling. No. Everybody's struggling. So tell me why you couldn't go to counseling over 10 months. Miss, let me just tell you something. You can go tell somebody, look, I'll help you organize your closets, pay me $50. I'll help you clean out your garage, pay me $50. You can make money in a myriad number of ways. You have been eating and surviving and moving through life for the last 10 months, but you haven't been prioritizing what I told you to do. If somebody tells you you need therapy, it's because you need therapy.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, the screen went up.
Because if I remember correctly, you were the one who was coming from brunch with your girls and got picked up. Am I mistaken?
Yes, ma'am.
Which situation was this?
I was leaving my job.
You was drinking and leaving your job. Oh, okay. That's even worse.
Well, no, that was working in the restaurant industry. I stay away from that area now, which is an easy job to get, but I don't want to go back to that lifestyle.
I get that, but even saying that sentence tells me you recognize you got a problem, but you waited 11 months and still didn't go to therapy.
Well, I paid for the class, but I didn't know I had 30 days after I spoke to the lady to go to the therapy, and that also cost too, I believe. And by the time I set up my appointment, he read the paper.
Did you ask questions?
No, I didn't know I had.
Miss Day, let me just stop you there. How old is your child?
She's 1.
Is she the only child you got?
No, I have another boy.
So you have 2 children, and you know you're facing jail if I decide to put you back in jail, but you go 11 months without asking questions about what's going to keep you out of jail. Come on now. As a mama, you thought you would come in here and Judge Hayward's going to be nice and I'm going to bring my baby and she won't put me in jail. Instead of you have a probation officer that you could have asked all these questions of over the course of the last 11 months, but you sign up for stuff, but you don't get full information about it. You have a probation officer, but you don't ask questions. Every probation officer in Clayton County knows what I prioritize, but you don't ask questions.
Yes, that's my mistake.
You can't afford to make those mistakes. You got 2 people who are dependent upon you. You can't afford to make those mistakes. Who doesn't ask questions about something that's vital to their livelihood? See, you playing me because now you think I'm gonna go ahead and let you finish that class, and then when you don't finish the class, I won't have enough time to put you in jail. I could put you in jail first And then neither one of us would have to worry about anything.
I understand.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Because if you understood, you'd have made arrangements for that baby before you brought her up in here.
I tried. Everybody went back to school and work. I drove all the way from Virginia, got here last night. I ain't have nowhere else to keep her. Everybody went back.
You did what?
I said I drove from Virginia last night. I didn't have anyone to keep her. Everybody
Who-
back to college. Work.
Who drove from Virginia?
Me, that's where I currently reside.
Mr. Taylor, doesn't a DUI suspend your license?
Yes, Your Honor.
Does she have it back?
I haven't inquired as to whether she has it back. It is possible she may have obtained a special permissions license that would allow her to drive to work and to school and to hospitals.
But Mr. Taylor, talk to her.
Yeah,
Let's verify she got a license before I go any further with her.
Yes, Your Honor.
I did my,
Let's-
All right, yeah, y'all talk offline before we have to go any further on this. All right, next. You're talking to me, but I'm not hearing you.
Can you pull out Mr. Jefferson? We could go forward with a plea on Mr. Jefferson. I think we have. an
That would be nice. Mr. Jefferson.
Stand next to me. How did I made
Right hand for me, sir. Mr. Jefferson,
it go away.
raise your right hand for me, sir. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. Mr. Jefferson, you're before the court on two cases, 2023 CR 07708 for public drunk and 2024 CR 10418 for public drunk and marijuana 1 ounce or less. Mr. Owen Lynch is representing you. Mr. Lynch, these are his only two cases, correct? Pending.
Yes, Judge, only 2 cases that are pending in state court I'm aware of.
All right, what is your client plea into the offenses before the court?
Judge, he'll enter guilty pleas to the public drunk counts, and I believe the possession of marijuana count would be a null prost on the second case.
All right, by entering a plea of guilty on both public drunk offenses on the cases 2023 CR 07708 and 2024 CR 10418, and on 10418 the marijuana will be null prost. You give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Mr. Jefferson?
Yes.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about March the 24th of 2023, Officer Andre Smith was dispatched to a drunken person call at the JJ's Chicken restaurant located on 10335 Terra Boulevard, Jonesboro, Georgia, 30236, Clayton County. Upon his arrival, he made contact with the defendant. Officer Smith observed the defendant walking around causing a disturbance, cursing and yelling at civilians at the restaurant. When Officer Smith asked the defendant questions, he spoke in slurs and did not know where he was. The defendant was also unable to keep his balance on his own at that time the defendant was placed under arrest. Your Honor, for case ending in 07708, the state's recommendation is 12 months to serve, 30 days balance suspended. Regarding the case ending in 10418, the facts are on or about September 25th of 2023, Officer Spencer Williams was dispatched to, Officer Spencer Williams and Field Training Officer Kenyon Ford was dispatched to 10357 Briar Bay Drive, Jonesboro, Georgia, 30238, Clayton County, in reference to a drunk person. Upon their arrival, they observed the defendant outside the residence. Law enforcement spoke to the defendant and asked him if he lived there at the residence, and if he knew where he was. The defendant stated that he was trying to get home. Upon speaking to the defendant, officers detected an odor of alcohol that was coming from his breath and slurred speech. The officers asked the defendant how much he had to drink, and he said that he only had one beer. At that point, the defendant was taken to the patrol vehicle, and upon search incident to arrest, a green leafy material believed to be marijuana, approximately 6.4 grams, was located. Your Honor, for count one, 12 months to serve, 30 days balance suspended, to run concurrent with case number 07708, and for count two, the second one, not that count.
All right. Mr. Lynch?
Yes, Judge, we'd ask the court to accept the pleas as negotiated.
All right, Mr. Jefferson, I'm going to accept your plea of guilty to public drunk on case 2023 CR 07708. You'll serve 12 months to serve 30 days. Balance will be suspended. You'll get credit for since the date of lockup. You're to have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia. On case 2024 CR 10418, public drunk, I'll accept your plea of guilty. Count two will be null pros. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 30 days. Balance will be suspended. You're to have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia, and this sentence will run concurrent with the sentence on case 2023 CR 07708. All right, and you'll receive credit since the date of lockup.
Thank you, Judge.
All righty. All right, so let me run through the calendar so we'll know where we are. I have Mr. Edelbaum is going to need a full hearing. He's got we'll give him 1 and 2 weeks. Bullock is pending. Callahan is pending. Carmichael, Salida Carmichael pending. Henry Carroll pending. Chambers is OTB. We're waiting to resume Day. Dewberry is pending. Jefferson has been resolved. Johnson is a bench warrant bond forfeiture. Lovett is reset. Neem is we've completed that petition, and Williams is a not guilty. All right. All right, you can go back with the sheriff's office, Mr. Jefferson.
And, Judge, looks like you have a. You already say?
Judge, this is Attorney Mike Barber. May I make an announcement?
Mr. Barber.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Well, I got out of Cobb Superior and found out Brandon was late for checking in with you, so I'm checking in for Mr. Rosenblum on Miss Cornegay.
Oh yeah, he called though, but I get it. He's probably stuck still in whatever hearing he was in.
Yes, Your Honor.
So Miss Cornegay is here. I did let her know that her attorney had called, and we were just going to hold for the report. What you got for me, son?
I believe it's the plea today, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Cornegay, I see you. All right, Miss Cornegay, you're not driving, are you? I'm gonna need you to pull over and stop for me. All right.
Good morning, Your Honor. No, ma'am, I'm not.
Okay. So you're before the court on 2023 CR 07721. Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good. Mr. Barber is here on behalf of Mr. Rosenblum's office, so he's going to assist you in this plea. You're charged with aggressive driving and traffic violation. Mr. Barber, how does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Well, I believe that we're pleading out to an amended violation for red light, and that would be a no-low plea if that is the correct information I have from Mr. Rosenblum.
All right, Ms. Hagler?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
All right, so is count one being amended? Or is it gonna be no pros? Okay,
No
so
pros, Your
count
Honor.
one will be no pros, count two is the amended red light violation. And she's entering a guilty plea?
No-low is what we were
No-low plea.
requesting, Your Honor.
All right, so by entering a plea of no-low, Ms. Cornegay, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to present evidence and testimony on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about June 30th of 2023, Sergeant S. Haynes did issue the defendant a traffic citation for failure to obey a traffic control device. As the defendant continued through a solid red light while at the intersection of Spur 85 and Bellseder Road, Clayton County, Georgia. Your Honor, those are facts of the case. Count one will be non-pros, and count two will be a fine of $100.
All right, so Ms. Cornegay, the fine is $100, $151.50 with the surcharges. Did you wish to pay that in 30? I give everybody who's not at the courthouse a minimum of 30 days. But did you need additional time to pay that, or is 30 days sufficient?
Yes, ma'am, that's sufficient. I do have a question, if I might ask.
Sure, I'm gonna tell you how to pay.
Okay, no, that's perfect. I was gonna ask if I could come in later on today when I got off work.
Yes, ma'am. So you can come in and pay it on the second floor of the state court clerk's traffic division. It's at 9151 Terra Boulevard, Jonesboro. And on the second floor, now they close at 4:30. So if you can't make it by 4:30, you have 30 days to arrange to make it, okay? Also, if you wish to pay online or by phone, you can do that. And what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you to chat your email address to Ms. Holcomb, who's our clerk, and she's going to send you the sentencing information, and she'll also send you in the email the information about how to pay online or by phone.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So when you chat to Ms. Holcomb, it'll be, when it comes down on the chat menu, it'll say Clerk Terrell Holcomb. So you can do that now before you get off the call. And once you do that, you just check your email, check your spam folder just in case, but check your email, and you should have your sentencing sheet in there. And then the information, it's the state court clerk's office, so you'll be able to get that information about paying.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, be safe out there, Ms. Cornegay.
I certainly will. You too.
Okay.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Make sure you send that chat before you log off.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Barber, thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge. Sorry I was tardy.
That's okay. As long as y'all call, I get it. I remember I used to trot the boards. So I know what it means to go from courthouse to courthouse.
Yes.
But yeah, y'all are fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Take care. All right, who's next? We want to bring Ms. Day back up.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm ready.
Mrs. Day's license and found that it is currently valid.
Okay.
Valid status, so she's able to drive on it. I have the license number. Furthermore, Your Honor, Ms. Day has been tested over the course of her probation for alcohol. She was tested at least 3 times at spaced intervals and tested clean all 3 times. She did not violate any of the testing.
All right, Ms. Day, come on back up.
So while I understand the importance of the ASAM testing, I think that her pattern, or rather lack of a pattern of drinking being clean at random intervals during her probationary period when she was tested, indicates that she did take the admonition of staying away from alcohol seriously.
All right, Ms. Day, let me just explain to you why I'm so tough on you. First of all, it's alcohol, and I don't want anybody's life impacted by a drinking driver. Okay, number one. But number two, the studies have shown the health and welfare of a child depends more on the mother. Even in a 2-parent home where you're stable and both parents are you married, you both got good jobs, all of that. The health and welfare of a child depends more on the mother's stability and well-being than anything else. You got me? If you're stable and doing well, your kids are going to be stable and doing well. Even if you don't have all the money in the world, you're going to think your way through problems and you're going to make it happen for your children. So never pass up the opportunity to, if somebody in a black robe tells you you need to do X, Y, and Z, do X, Y, and Z. If you can't manage X, Y, and Z, ask questions. Your whole job is to make sure these little people grow up well. So if you don't ask questions, if you're not aggressive about making sure your situation is good, then they're just at the mercy of whatever happens to you. And I know life can be hard. Trust me, I was raised by a single mom. So I know some of the stuff that you're struggling with. But what I'm saying to you is you got to prioritize those things that are, one, going to keep you with your children, and number two, going to move you forward. Now, let's talk about jobs. Where are you working?
I'm working at a daycare, but
I can't hear you.
I'm working at a daycare, so I could.
Okay. So she gets daycare, so you're working there, and okay, that's a good idea. Are you taking any classes?
No.
Where do you see yourself once she's in school?
Just working.
Okay, Miss Day, let me tell you something. I need you to sit down and come up with a plan. Okay? My mama got 2 degrees while I was a kid, like in school. What I want you to do is find the nearest community college to where you are and figure out what programs they have. Even if it's a trade or a technical school, that's even better sometimes because you come out as a business person. Find something that you can do that means that you're going to be in control of your life and making money for your children. You hear me? Because what I hear is somebody who's a little bit defeated. You are kind of down, like you just doing the minimum to get through. You're just doing what it takes to get from day to day to day. And you surviving. But what I want you to start thinking about is you have to thrive. So you got to have a plan. Every spiritual philosophy that I've ever heard of is that Christianity, Buddhism, everywhere, they all talk about how important it is to have a vision and to manifest things into your life. Plan those things, write those things down, speak those things into existence. So right now you down. I get you. It's been a lot. But what I need you to do when you get back home and you safe in your house and your kids are asleep, you need to sit down at your table, get you a hot chocolate or some tea, and get you a notepad and start thinking about stuff you like to do, stuff you can make money at doing, stuff that's going to bring you into a career field, a trade, a business, something. And then the next step is to seek out how to find that resource. Okay? There are programs for working mothers. There are programs, nursing programs are looking for people. You got me? If nursing is your thing, if you're not scared of blood and fluids, then they're looking for people. But Miss Day, you can't just exist. You got two little people who depend on you. And you got to get out there and make it happen. And part of that is being aggressive about things and asking questions. You got to go after it. You can't just let it happen to you. You got me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. A lot of what I do is shock and awe. Because when I get you in here and I see that you're not acting like you acting like life is beating you down, I got to shock you. I got to get you back up. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What's the recommendation, Mr. Carmichael?
Well, basically recommend, wants to follow the recommendation that Mr. Taylor proposed earlier, and that she gets the ASMA level 1, enroll in that by the end of this week.
Okay.
As far as payments, I wanted to discuss that with you, or discuss with Mr. Taylor about a possible alternative. Whether we can, the program.
I'm not just pressed about payments right now. She's got a lot on her.
Yes.
I'd rather her complete the ASIM level 1s, and if she does that, I'm gonna be okay.
Understood.
But Miss Day,
Yes, ma'am.
recognize, like I said, it's not gonna happen for you. Nobody's gonna show up at your door and hand you a good job and $1 million. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna have to go get it. And I mean, that means in my lifetime, I've worked 2 jobs. I've had a full-time job and then a side hustle running around, notarizing loan documents, going like just driving all after in the evenings and stuff, working that extra. You've got to be willing to do that. You know, when I grew up, my mama, she was a police officer. She was she taught at a daycare. That's where coming out. That was one of her first jobs. When she got me stable, she was working at a daycare, but she went back to school. So you've got to start a plan and start thinking about what you can do, because you can't just let life happen to you. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we'll go, Miss. You're going to return to probation. You're going to sign up for your level 1 treatment program class by what's today? Today is Tuesday. By Monday morning, you need to have that completely signed up. Okay, and you need to go ahead and sign and complete that.
Yes, ma'am.
So by January 12th, sign up for your level 1 program and complete that.
Thank
All
you.
right, Miss
Thank
Day,
you.
I want the best for you and them babies, but I can't do that. I can't do the best for you. Only you can.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So on your drive back, you play your good music and you let your mind roam free and just think about all the things that you want to have change in your life and where you see yourself and those babies in a year. Because your whole life can change in 12 months for the good or the bad. I want yours to change for the good.
Thank you so much.
All right. All right. I'm going to send that over, Mr. Carmichael.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's all of my cases. May I be excused?
Yes, Mr. Carmichael. Thank you.
Thank you as always, Your Honor.
All right. Who's next?
Hey, Judge, we could do Mr. Bullock, I believe.
That's fine.
We all pull out Mr. Bullock. Hey, Tad. Yes.
the probation, and we're going to ask for termination.
Yeah.
Under that condition. Okay. Mr. Gerald's in here?
Yeah.
Sir, this judge, he can hear you, she can see you.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
goes out, you see up there.
1 second for me, sir.
Okay, how you doing today, ma'am?
I'm doing great. How are you, Mr. Bullock?
I'm doing good. I'm just hoping you can give me some type of working with today.
We'll see.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Bullock, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Cedric Otis Bullock Jr. You're before the court for theft by taking, obstruction of an officer, and escape on case 2024 CR 10576. You're represented by the law firm of Lister, Holt, and Dennis. Mr. Owen Lynch is with you at the podium. Mr. Lynch, what does your client plead to the offense before the court?
Judge Heener's pleads of guilty.
Right, to all three?
Yes, Judge.
All right, raise your right hand for me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on theft by taking. You've entered a plea of guilty, obstruction of an officer, guilty, escape, guilty. By entering these pleas, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about November the 4th of 2024 at 1681 Flicker Road, Jonesboro, Clayton County, Georgia, pursuant to the state warrant in the packet, the defendant did commit the offense of obstruction of a law enforcement officer when he knowingly and willfully obstructed and hindered Officer Reggie Shepard, a law enforcement officer, while in the lawful discharge of his official duties, by fleeing on foot when approached by Officer Shepard for investigative purposes. The defendant also did commit the offense of escape, in which prior to conviction of a misdemeanor, he intentionally escaped from lawful custody of the Lovejoy Police Department. And then lastly, Your Honor, the defendant did commit the offense of theft by taking when he took law enforcement handcuffs, the property of Officer Reggie Shepard, with a value of $77 or less, with the intent to escape and obstruct the officer with said property. Those are the facts of the case.
Ms. Hagler, what were they investigating Mr. Bullock for?
We go to the actual report.
No clue?
Okay, so pursuant to the actual police report, it says on November 22nd of 2024, at approximately 19:15 hours, Officer Shepard was pulling into the CVS pharmacy located at 10307 Terra Boulevard, Jonesboro, Clayton County. When at the rear of the building, he noticed the defendant walking towards his patrol vehicle. He observed the defendant's reaction to his presence and immediately reminded the officer who he was. As he attempted to exit the patrol vehicle, the defendant initiated a foot chase to the parking lot heading behind the Dollar General. And as he pursued the defendant northbound parallel to Terra Boulevard, they crossed into a wooded area that led to a path out onto Old Dogwood Road. At that time, Officer Shepherd did attempt to notify Clayton County Dispatch. As he closed the distance between himself and the defendant, he lined up to perform a tackle. At that time, he was able to take him into custody. And
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out what initiated this, because this sounds like a case of officer embarrassment as opposed to an actual crime that was being investigated.
so they're
Mr.
actually
Bullock, I have yet to
Oh.
figure out what Mr. Bullock did that wasn't constitutionally okay, except for running off with the handcuffs. You're not
Well, then-
required to stop when an officer sees you. You can run away and flee under the Constitution of the United States of Georgia and case law thereunto. I'm still waiting for what happened that caused this whole situation. I'm tired of these aftermarket charges. Like, if he did something or he was wanted, I want that up front. But if you just gonna say you encountered somebody, he looked at you and then he started running, and then you go expend your energy to run, none of this makes sense to me.
So there's also another police report in here from November the 4th. So there are two separate ones, one from November the 4th and November 22nd. And so from the November 4th incident, it appears that Officer Shepherd was dispatched to an incident location in reference to a drunk male who needed to be removed from the premises of a liquor store. At that time, he made contact with the victim, who stated that the defendant had already been banned from the store and that the defendant continues to show up harassing customers and begging. So it looks like that happened on that day, and then the officer apparently saw him on November 22nd.
Mr. Lynch,
Yes, Judge.
would you consider changing your client's plea to a NOLO?
Yes, Judge. Absolutely. And
All right, the court's gonna accept a NOLO on 3.
Thank you, Judge.
Recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation for count 1, 12 months to serve, 90 days, balance suspended. For count 2, a fine of $300 to be suspended. And then for count 3, 12 months to serve, 90 days, balance suspended. And you get credit from the day of lockup.
Judge, I was gonna say, since,
How much is he served?
he's served up
he's-
to 60 days or no, 40.
He's been in since November the 4th of last year. So, yeah,
All right.
November the 4th.
Credit for time served on count 1. The balance suspended, $300 fine suspended on count 2. Credit for time served on count 3, balance suspended.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Mr. Bullock. Mr. Bullock,
Yes,
how old
ma'am.
are you?
32, ma'am.
Mr. Bullock, you 32 years old and you hanging out around the backs of stores. Mr. Bullock, I need you to think about where your life went left. What is it you plan to do with your life? You can't spend the rest of your life hanging out behind liquor stores and running from the police.
I wasn't hanging behind.
No. That's not the point. The point I'm making is,
Yes, ma'am.
where are you going in your life? Do you have children?
No, ma'am.
Good, because you can only take care of yourself right now, and you're not doing a good job of that.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
need you to start thinking about changing the way you're doing stuff
Yes,
and
ma'am.
making better choices.
Yes, ma'am.
All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Get a job and start building something for yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? You're 32 years old. This is the prime of your life. This is the time of your life when you should have a job. I don't care whether you're working at a manufacturing firm or a law firm. You should have a job. You should have you a nice little car and a little apartment or a house that you like going to at the end of every day.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
32 years old. This is when you start building stuff in your life.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? All right. You can go back with the sheriff's office. I don't know if you're hearing me, but I hope you are.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I can see the time served. Okay. Time served, I'm sorry, just 90 days.
That's right.
So I might go home today.
Unless you got something else holding.
But you remember I told you 60 days?
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta serve them, but this is, right. So unless something else is going on, you should be released.
All right, who's next?
Judge, we could do Mr. Carroll. You want to do Mr. Carroll?
Now remember, we got less than 30 minutes before trial, so we need to move along.
Mr. Carroll, and then we can do Ms. Carmichael.
Okay.
Done. Who else do we have?
Did y'all handle anybody else when I was out?
Okay, Carol Carmichael, then we'll do Callahan and Dewberry.
Probations.
Sure, Judge. Ms. Hagler, you never responded to me about Dewberry.
Oh, did you text me?
Yeah, I responded on the chat.
Oh, on the chat, okay. Hold on. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
You got the chat, oh, about,
You just,
today? Today's?
he's on probation for today. The recommendation is 60 days, but he has the other case pending.
Oh, for the,
It's scheduled for the 14th. That's why.
right.
But you want to just take a look at that. I guess we'll handle Carol and then. No, I'm not talking about all.
Mr. Carroll? Raise your right hand for me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
You can put your hand down. You're before the court on 2024 CR 10471 Henry Lee Carroll III, death by shoplifting and marijuana 1 ounce or less. Mr. Lynch, what is your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Judge, it's gonna be a guilty plea to count 1 theft by shoplifting, and I believe count 2 will be null pros.
All right, by entering a plea of guilty to count 1, count 2 will be null pros. You give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And you give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right. Factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about October 29th of 2023, Officer Proctor was working an off-duty part-time job at 7050 Spur 85, Riverdale, Georgia, Clayton County, also known as the Walmart. Walmart asset protection staff advised that they observed the defendant attempting to steal merchandise. Officer Proctor did observe the defendant on video camera. The Walmart asset protection staff did inform the officer that the defendant proceeded to exit the stores, passing out points of sale without paying for the unpaid merchandise. At that time, the defendant was detained and arrested.
Do we know what he stole?
I am actually looking for that now, Your Honor. 1 second.
It's not on the accusation, Your Honor, but in the police report, it appears that it was some underwear
Okay.
in a bag.
All right. Mr. Carroll, what's going on with you, sir?
Ma'am, I honestly I couldn't even remember that they was up under the buggy, okay? And I had tried to swipe my credit card, my SSI come through, and it failed. So I didn't even think to look up under the bottom, because I had some other stuff up under the bottom too, that I guess that they didn't see or whatever, but I didn't even know. I just forgot. I was mad and was about to hurry up and leave out. And then that's when they called me before I got out. And I honestly did not even know that they were up under the bottom, I promise, because I had a lot of stuff that I didn't get because my card didn't go through.
Okay.
And Your Honor, this was over a year ago when this incident occurred. It was October 23 of 2023. Mr. Carroll was taken into custody this year on December 19th. He's currently been in jail 19 days.
All right. Recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is 4 months probation, 40 hours of community service, a fine of $200. The defendant is to complete the theft prevention course and to not return and stay away from the incident location. Again, 7050 Highway 85 Riverdale, also known as the Walmart, Clayton County. And for count 2, the second and non-pros count 2.
All right, Mr. Taylor, I heard SSI. Is he a candidate for probation?
Yes, he is, Your Honor. And not only is he a candidate for probation, he has a position waiting for him in Florida. He's going to be doing, he's volunteering, it's paid volunteership to do medical testing with the flight staff at NASA, basically participating in experiments that allows, you know, but he gets paid for those. I think
All righty then.
Interesting and a little bit.
All right. So, Mr. Carroll, I'll make you this deal. You complete the 40 hours of community service and the theft prevention course. The $200 fine will be suspended, and you're not to go back to any Walmart. And if you complete, as soon as you complete the 40 hours and the theft prevention course, then I'll terminate your probation so you can go take that job at NASA.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent, Your Honor. We thank you so much.
All right. Just don't let me see you back here with this foolishness again, Mr. Carroll. You go make America great with NASA.
I promise you I will.
All right. Take care, sir.
Yes, ma'am. You good?
All right. Who's next?
Well, I'm not on the calendar, Your Honor. I've got something that is on for the 23rd. Just found out that my wife is having surgery on that day. It's an immunity motion. It's on for the 23rd. What do you want me to just file a motion for continuance?
send an email to Miss Val and tell her that she's on the phone right now. I can hear her talking. Tell her that I okayed it being moved to prior to trial, because in immunity motion, we can have everybody there that we need prior to trial. And then if we grant immunity, then everybody goes home.
Okay, and will that be, my client actually lives in Massachusetts. Will this be?
Well, if they're gonna come down for trial, then at least that will save them from coming down for 2 trips.
Okay. And I was
And
wanting
the next trial calendar for criminal is probably not until March.
Okay, I'll let her know.
Okay,
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
thank you. Prayers for your wife.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, who's next?
We're ready on Carmichael.
Bring them out, bring them out.
Bring them out, bring them out. Sorry, I don't want to open the door like I was
They went back there, but
Judge, I'm not sure. The deputies might be dealing with something. I'm waiting for them to pop out. But
Okay.
I'm trying to.
Whitson, I think, is sick today, so we got some new people.
Hey, can y'all bring out can you bring Carmichael up?
Carmichael?
Yeah. She's the other 20.
Oh, that's not their third family.
Oh, it's for real?
So we have Carmichael, Callahan, Dewberry.
Yeah.
I did just, I did.
The Fugit, what's going on?
They're bringing her out.
Oh, let me get Carolyn to do
Okay, line the other 3 up, the other 2 up too.
We need Carmichael, then we're gonna do Callahan, and then Dewberry.
Carmichael.
We got 10 minutes to get 3 people. What was the deal with the sandwiches?
something is really going on.
How far did you go yesterday with this network trial?
They did just go there, as far as I left like that. What?
Did they pull the jury or just get through the questions?
I think they got a jury. I'm pretty sure, because when I left, it was almost 4.
Once the questions are done, they're
Yeah.
what time is it? What time?
When I left, it was like before, and they were.
This is not as common. We don't need this law.
Here we go again. Why do you keep doing this to me?
Okay, come on.
I was supposed to be released today. No, I was supposed to be released today.
You said Carmichael, come on.
Y'all playing games with me. This is the third lawyer I didn't see. I have not seen not one.
Come on. Just look at yourself.
I haven't got an intake and nothing else. I'm suing. So when I leave out here, you're gonna have all my stuff on that day.
What's going on?
Yes, they brought out the wrong defendant. That was Miss Lovick, not Miss Carmichael.
I feel sorry for y'all. I really do.
That's a safe place to be.
Yeah, I would. I'd be right there between you. Which way to go? Oh, yeah.
All right, thank you. Watch your step. I know. No, you're gonna stand right here.
Don't stand with them.
Ms. Carmichael,
Yes, ma'am, Miss,
raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give will be true.
yes, I'm going home, not to the airport.
Okay, I got you. We're gonna get to that part. You can go ahead and put your hand down, okay? All right, so you're before the court on 2024 CR 10396 for criminal trespass. You're represented by Mr. Lynch, who's right there with you. Mr. Lynch, what's your client plead to the offense before the court?
No contest, Judge.
By entering a plea of nolo, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove the case against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to present evidence and testimony to not incriminate yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about November the 12th of 2024, the defendant was walking out of the MARTA station and was asked if she had any airport business and had no ticket or phone on her person. She was asked to get back on the MARTA and she refused. At that point, she was arrested. She was also previously arrested on November the 5th of 2024 for case number 243-108-045 for criminal trespass. And again on, looks like, okay. Can't make out that handwriting. And so at this time, Your Honor, those are the facts of the case, according to Clayton County, Georgia. The state's offer is 12 months probation, 40 hours of community service, a fine of $300. The defendant is to stay away.
This lady cannot do probation. I can already
Okay.
see it's not gonna be a successful probation. How long is
Okay.
she?
Well, that's fine. The state's recommendation, she's been in since November the 12th. So the state's recommendation is 12 months to serve, 90 days, bond suspended. As she did already receive a warning to not go back. It was arrested on November the 5th of last year. And the state has asked that the court does not accept a nolo. Again, she was given previous warning to not return.
Judge,
Mr. Lynch.
I would just note for the court that I didn't hear any facts about any violence or it's cold out there. I've explained to her she can't go back to the MARTA, but I mean they got her coming right off the train.
Right, she didn't get to the airport, I know.
And so, Judge, I would just ask that her sentence be 30 days credit for time served. She's done with 30 days, and I think that's enough time for a criminal trespass. If she, and I've explained to her that they're looking for her at the airport, so if she doesn't have business there, she'll likely be going into custody. But I would ask that, she did explain to me she has somewhere to go, and she understands that she's not to go to the airport. So I would just ask the court to accept the plea. I mean, to accept the low and a sentence to credit for time served.
City of Atlanta brags about all the services they have, and they claim to have services set up on or near the airport property. Yet we keep getting these cases, so whether they have them or not, I'm not clear. They don't seem to be trickling down to Clayton County where we actually do the adjudication of these cases. With that being said, that's my little soapbox. I'm gonna give her 30 days credit for time served. Balance will be suspended as long as she does not go back to the airport MARTA station or the Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport unless she has ticket to travel on that day.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. All right, next is Callahan's. That's the petition.
Callahan is the tall guy with the.
Yeah, the one, yeah.
Kind of-
We're gonna have a big-
I don't know what she- We got one more. And Judge, I don't know if, well, never mind. We got Mr. Callahan.
Hey, come on up.
Courtney Wendell Callahan,
It's Waddell, man.
Callahan, 2024 CR 08664, petition for revocation of probation. Raise your right hand for me, Mr. Callahan. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
There I am. All right, so you were before this court for criminal trespass on the 5th day of November 2024, sentenced to 12 months on probation. You have 9 months and 27 days remaining. Says that you have a violation of the criminal law, simple battery on or about November 26th of 2024, that you failed to report to probation, which probably was because you were already in jail, on December 15th of 2024, and you failed to complete community service, 40 hours of community service. You've not documented any hours or shown proof of that, and you failed to pay your $210 in arrears. Mr. Taylor, what say you about Mr. Callahan?
Mr. Callahan lives with his grandmother, and he's working at Wendy's. In addition, his cousin also works at or lives at his grandmother's house, and he became involved in an altercation with his cousin. There's some dispute as to who started this. I will say that Mr. Callahan, during the incident, sustained a severe injury to his head. I don't know if you can see that,
I
but
see.
he got 12 stitches across his head by being hit with a baseball bat, and then he was charged with a simple battery. So the day after he went to the hospital, his cousin went and got a warrant. They came and arrested him. And so he's been in custody and hasn't been able to complete any of the terms of his current probation. I spoke briefly with Ms. Hagler to see how they were going to proceed on the case if they had a recommendation. We do, at least unless there's a recommendation that coincides with the current probation, we intend to contest the new charge. As I said, Mr. Callahan does have a job at Wendy's and is prepared to do all the terms of the community service once he's released from custody. Right now, I believe the recommendation is 60 days in closed case.
Let me ask a couple of questions. Does he have a place to go? Because if the dude took out a warrant, then possibly there's a bond condition.
I haven't seen the bond condition yet, Your Honor.
I can't be around my cousin.
Okay, so
I can stay with my sister.
he's allowed to, he can stay with his sister. The location, the incident location was his grandmother, and the bond condition is he can't have any contact with his cousin.
All right. What's the recommendation, Shane?
Your Honor, probation recommends 60 days be revoked, close the case
How long has he been in?
since December 14th.
So roughly 24 days, Your Honor.
I'll do 30 and close.
30 and close? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yeah, his next one will come up before me.
That's correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Callahan,
Yes, ma'am.
don't go around that cousin. Don't go back to your grandmama's house until the next case is resolved. And sir, go back to your job and keep working and keep doing what you're supposed to do to stay out of trouble, please.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
All right?
That's all I was trying to do.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. You can go back with the sheriff's office.
Judge,
Yes, Mr. Lynn.
so for Mr. Dewberry, like, so I explained he's got the 60-day, or I'm sorry, he's here for a petition to violate his probation. He does not contest that. He wants to accept the 60 days recommended by Ms. Chang. He does have a pending case, criminal trespass loitering, I believe, scheduled for the 14th. So we were hoping to get something all run concurrent. I don't know if you wanted to move it to the 14th and resolve everything. Is that okay with Ms. Chang? Does that present an issue for you?
Ms. Chang?
Yes, that's fine, Your Honor.
Okay, so this case will be moved. Dewberry will move to the 14th.
And Judge, and I know you're ready to start a trial, so I just wanted to point out that Anthony Boston is on the call, and I believe we at least verbally said that he was going to be scheduled for today, but I don't think that ever got calendared. But he is on the call. I know Ms. Hagler may not have everything in front of her, but I did submit some information for her, so I just wanted to address that with the court, make sure there was no like that Mr. Boston had appeared when he agreed to appear.
All right, I'm fine with that.
And I guess I'll send an email to hopefully get this disposed, but I don't want to try to waste the court, or not waste, but try to take the court's time if it's ready to move into jury mode.
I'm ready to move into jury.
All right, I'll communicate with Mr. Boston.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. And I think, does that resolve everything?
I believe so.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms.
Thank-
Chang.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, all your inmates are done.
This time.
They're done for real this time. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Judge. All right, thank y'all. See y'all in the court.
Thank you, Judge.